Ready? Play.
Let's move on to probably what is the more competitive section of the draw, which is, this one. So I think rather than, I think what we'll do is we'll go to this match, which was the last ball that dropped, and that was Amanda Anisimova against Linda Noskova, which I think was probably the best women's match of the day. That match really could have gone either way. Absolutely loved watching it. Really similar players. They were both absolutely hitting it. Crazy momentum swings. At the end of the day, it was just Linda Noskova getting a little bit tight in the final game as Anisimova raised her level to get the job done. Jack, you want to come in on this one?
Yeah, I was quite gutted for Noskova because it totally was. It was just a little bit of tension in the last few games, and you could tell she was really upset afterwards because it really could have went either way. And I think she was just a bit upset at her own game when it really counted. Because that last game was just a little bit loose, and there was a few just like big moves from Noskova at the wrong time. I think the match point, for example, it was quite a high backhand for Anisimova, and Noskova was so desperate to get to the ball, she left the line completely open. And you could just tell there was a lot of tension in there. And it's maybe not her time yet, but Noskova is definitely the kind of player that if she puts everything together at some point in her career, obviously she's only 20 years old, then she's going to be super, super dangerous. She's just not quite ready yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's got so much potential, especially on like surfaces like grass. She showed it before. And yeah, it's great to see sort of what she's achieved so far by the age of 20. I think she's got hugely promising game, and she was Merta Tunga's pick on WTA Weekly to make the semis from that section. But credit to Amanda Anisimova, who has been the top seed in this quarter since Paolini went out, and really has been playing like it. And Zach, where are you at with? Did you catch the match? Where are you at with Anisimova right now?
I only caught a little bit, but I just got to say, both players, absolute talents, and I think both are going to be on the tour for a decade plus. I mean, it really, really just a few games that I caught. Fun power baseline tennis from Anisimova. She did not go to college. Just want to point out that her older sister Maria did play college tennis. So I think that not saying she's a product of college tennis, but she's not a bit of a product of college tennis. Many people are saying. So I think that's worth pointing out. I think, I talked about those four that I thought really had a shot against Sabalenka, and I wish that I'd caught a few more games, because if I had, I think I might agree with Jack that she's in that mix now. I think of all the players, of those four, I think Anisimova has the best shot against the Sabalenka type. Just really, really strong, able to handle the pace, able to dictate points a little bit. I was impressed.
Yeah, I think if we get a Sabalenka and Anisimova semi-final, and we'll talk about how likely that is in a minute when we preview the quarterfinal, I genuinely think that is going to be a blockbuster. I genuinely would put Sabalenka on upset alert, partly because of her history with Anisimova, being able to beat her before. Maybe, Anisimova being able to play a bit more sterner test than some of his opponents that Sabalenka's had so far and been able to stave off. I have to say I really liked how, despite how, Anisimova's maybe dropped a couple of sets and they've been 7-5 the scoreline both times against Damagalfi and then Linda Noskova. She's been able to execute her game really well, come back from that sense of adversity and absolutely crunch that way and raise her level. And we have seen Anisimova come on leaps and bounds this year. Well, maybe not leaps and bounds, but finally sort of harness her potential that we've been talking about for, 5-6 years now. So I'm super excited to see what she can do. She's now one match away from making a Grand Slam semi-final for the second time. First at Wimbledon. This is the second time she's in a Wimbledon quarterfinal. Any final words on Amanda Anisimova from either of you before we move on to her opponent in that quarterfinal?
I just got to acknowledge Damien, just grinding, watching challengers, just watching challengers every day. That man and his coverage are remarkable. And so not only should everybody listening be following Talking Tennis and Jack and Nick, please give Damien a follow, because if you really want to see what tennis is all about, you can see it on the Challenger Tour. That is, look, people are playing for a big break and love of the game. It is not for, as you can see, arenas full of people and big money.
Oh yeah, I went to the Challenger in Ilkley a few weeks ago, and that was a lot of fun. And that can be where it's at. So sometimes, and you get some really great tennis there. And great plug for following things and following Talking Tennis. If you are new, please give us a like, this video a like, give us a subscribe, follow the channel for more content like this.
Nick, you're being called Mr. Ilkley. Did you know that?
I can see that. Yes, I think I need to stop talking about it. I might have to break out the Birmingham 2023 stories. Anyway, we will move on to the next, the final match of the day. Final match that we haven't mentioned yet. One of the first matches of the day, first match on centre. Sonia Kartal, her heroic British run ended against Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in what was a close 2-set match. Yep, and she gets into her 10th Grand Slam quarterfinal, 9 years from her previous Wimbledon one. Great result from her, like just always finding herself occasionally just mixing it still with the big names, making these runs. Still think her match with Osaka was one of the best matches of the tournament so far. And I thought, great to come back from that sort of setback. Was definitely frustrated with it. I will say that I don't know if this problem is necessarily a Wimbledon the situation of like, I'd say the main problem is not necessarily the line calling didn't work, which, as concerning as that is, and more nobody used common sense and just called the ball out for what it was. And I don't know whether this, but I think I can't really definitively say this is a specifically Wimbledon problem or Grand Slam problem, or if this happened at an ATP or WTA 250 event, would the same thing have happened? I think that is very possible. So I think I should put that out there, as I think this just happened to be the tournament where this came up. I think I put that out there for the kind of implementation of it. They're just going to have to figure out how to better run with this technology.
I guess what I'd say though, Nick, is it makes it almost even worse that this is the tournament where it happened to come up. It happened at a 250, where the budget is a lot smaller, where the time and energy on getting everything right is not comparable to a tournament like Wimbledon. This is like the majors are the ones where it is categorically the most important. The stakes are the highest. They have to find a way to get it right. And I think that this is something where, again, if there's a longer tennis offseason, they can spend more time ensuring that in the future they do. They just can't get something that wrong. That's like, it is better to not have shot spot, to not have Hawkeye, than to get a call this wrong. Like give us the human error if this is what we're going to get without it.
Yeah, if this happens a lot, then we need to look at whether technology is the better solution.
Also, Ghosty and I are going to figure out the JFK thing together. I don't know if you saw that in the comments. I think a couple of Red Bulls and painting inside the lines, we might see there's a second shooter or not there.
This is good grief. This is like whole different corners of YouTube now. Let's talk. Let's stick to our tennis corner of YouTube. We are going slightly delirious, I think, because we've gone over an hour. Let's talk about this quarterfinal between Amanda Anisimova and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. Very interesting matchup. Like, I guess, Jack, where do you see this one going? Because this is interesting. Anisimova, on paper, the favorite, has the most hype around her. I wouldn't discount Pavlyuchenkova, though, at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I'm almost tempted to actually side with Pavlyuchenkova, who has maybe shown that she can ramp it up this tournament, just specifically maybe more so than Anisimova. I actually might side with Pavlyuchenkova very, very slightly. Very slightly. I'm expecting it to be really close. I just think Pavlyuchenkova has been here, done that. I know Anisimova has as well, but I feel like she's playing it a tiny, tiny bit better, and it could be enough. So I'm kind of like 55-45, not mega confident, but that's how I'm feeling.
Interesting. We just got the head-to-head, and they've played 3 times. Anisimova has won all 3 of those. Let's have a look and see how which match where they've come at, and oh gosh, there've been some really close ones actually.
Yeah, but it's going to be 4-0. I got Anisimova. She's just too strong right now on grass. She's been to a quarterfinal at Wimbledon before. She's made a major semi. You know, the moment's not going to be too big to her. She very much is the favorite for me. That being said, Pavlyuchenkova showed some real mental toughness, real resilience today. Is a great player. Certainly has what it takes to get the win. But I feel pretty good about the young American here.
So Anisimova, Pavlyuchenkova. Yeah, I can see these being close sets, whether it's 2 or 3. But I am with you, Zach. I think Anisimova has to be the favourite. I like how confident she's kind of making herself at the moment. I think this match is going to come down to who's going to be the mentally tougher on the day. And, you know, in that respect, it's 50-50. But with the momentum, with the hype, I'm going to have to back Anisimova at the moment, especially since, you know, maybe some slightly better grass results going into this as well. I'm not saying Pavlyuchenkova didn't have it because she got to the Eastbourne semis, but Anisimova made the Queen's final, looked pretty good there. Yeah, I think there's a growing sense of belief with both players, but I think Anisimova is more obvious. So I will probably give it a 60-40 Anisimova, but I am... but yeah, that's it's going to be close, and I think this is going to be the more competitive quarterfinal, and it'll be interesting to see who ends up potentially playing Sabalenka in the last semi-final. But I'm going with Anisimova, maybe out of hope for a pretty dramatic semi-final if that were to happen.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.